when they got Zack Greinkes, it was something that surprised their own players. It was not something that was that anybody saw coming in the game of baseball. It all came together in about 5 or 6 hours, and players were getting text messages as soon as the news broke. And A.J. Pollock was telling me that his first reaction was, well, that's good, we don't have to face him anymore. And so I think that's what it sends a message that ownership is going to commit some serious money. I mean, obviously with $206.5 million over 6 years. I think it also showed the other teams in the National League West that the Diamondbacks are serious about competing. Not only did they get one of the better pitchers in the game, but they took him away from one of their division rivals. So I think, actually 2 of their division rivals, because the other team bidding on him was the Giants. So I think that it sends a message not only to the team, but to the fan base as well as the other teams in the division. Initially, they thought that just Greinke would be enough, and they would go with whatever their internal options were. But when you invest $206.5 million in somebody, you then want to follow it up and make sure that you are going to be competitive. And so they went looking for a number 2 starter. They didn't like what they saw in the free agent market as far as prices for that, and the market for trades was high at that point. So yeah, they gave up a lot for Shelby Miller, but he's a guy they believe in. They have control over for the next 3 years, and Dave Stewart sees him as somebody who hasn't quite reached his potential, and still has another level to get to and be a number 2 starter, top end of the rotation type starter. Once you get beyond Greinke and Miller and Patrick Corbin, it was supposed to be an open competition for those final 2 spots, but a couple days into camp, Chip Hale said, after thinking about it and looking at what he had done last year, they're going to give that number 4 spot to Ruby De La Rosa, who did have a nice year last year. It was kind of an up and down year. If you take out his really poor starts against the Dodgers, his ERA looks a lot better than it ended up. In that number 5 spot, you got Robbie Ray, who's the leading candidate based on what he did last year. But Robbie needs to show them that he can be more efficient with his pitches, can pitch deeper into games. So they're going to be looking at that this spring to see how is he more aggressive in counts against hitters. Because you got Archie Bradley, who's still rated as their top prospect in the organization, and you also have Zach Godley, who had a nice year last year for him, and Tyler Wagner, who came over from the Brewers. So those guys are kind of still in the mix there for that 5th spot, and if not, certainly guys that'll help out during the season, because you usually need more than 5 starters.